people in your life are not always going to be there. Don't take them for granted. There will always be plenty of work, plenty of challenges, plenty of problems to solve. Those things will never go away. When you're with your family, give them your time, your attention. Life goes so fast. Don't take for granted all the good things in your life right now. You're present. I'm asking you to get connected. Enjoy where you are. Take time for the people God's given you. The dreams will come to pass in due season. The problems will resolve in God's timing. Worrying about them doesn't make it work out any sooner. Constantly thinking about your goals doesn't make them happen any faster. Stay in the moment.
I don't want to live in a hole anymore. It makes me feel poor.
We are poor, but we're happy.
Come see, come ça. Anyway, the views are better above ground. Honey, I'm 7 non-Fox years old now. My father died at 7.5. I don't want to live in a hole anymore. And I'm going to do something about it.
Because, yeah, nothing changes and nothing changes, man. You know, we'll sit around forever wondering, well, what if I
wanted to project myself forward to age 80 and say, okay, now I'm looking back on my life. I want to have minimized the number of regrets I have. And you know, I knew that when I was 80, I was not going to regret having tried this. I was not going to regret having wanted, trying to participate in this thing called the internet that I thought was going to be a really big deal. I knew that if I failed, I wouldn't regret that. But I knew the one thing I might regret is not ever having tried. And I knew that that would haunt me every day. And so when I thought about it that way, it was an incredibly easy decision.
You have to understand, this next 5-year window is when you don't go practical and safe. This is not the time to get the job mom wanted you to.
Risk used to drive me right up the wall. I used to say, what if this happens? It's called the language of the poor. What if this happens? And on top of that, if this was to happen, look at the fix I'd be in. I better not try. Then I'll tell you what changed my whole life when I finally discovered it's all risky. The minute you were born, it got risky. If you think trying is risky, wait till they hand you the bill for not trying. See, it's all risky. Getting married is risky. Having children is risky. Going into business is risky. Investing your money is risky. It's all risky. I'll tell you how risky life is. You're not going to get out alive.
What would you do if you weren't afraid? And I love thinking about that when I'm thinking about big life decisions. Like, what would I do if I weren't afraid? And it's usually like the big one, the bigger thing that I really want to do, but I'm afraid to do it. It's like, that's what I should do. And what would I do if I didn't, if I knew I couldn't fail? I will never wish for fewer epic stories at the end of my life. And I've never regretted failures. I've always regretted things that I didn't try. A lot of times when it's like, we have this anxiety around this big decision we have to make. If you actually take the step and realize that it's not death, you're not going to drown immediately. There's plenty of other steps you can take from there, even if you get a little wet.
Well, you should be afraid of taking risks and pursuing something meaningful. But you should be more afraid of staying where you are if it's making you miserable. It's like the first thing you want to do is dispense with the idea that you get to have any permanent security outside of your ability to contend and adapt. It's the same issue with children. It's like you're paying a price by sitting there being miserable. And you might say, well, the devil I know is better than the one I don't. It's like, don't be so sure of that. The clock is ticking. Yeah, and if you're miserable in your job now and you change nothing, in 5 years, you'll be much more miserable and you'll be a lot older.
Just get a stable job. Just get an easy job. Don't go too flashy. Don't go too crazy. Don't go too risky. There isn't any risk. That's what people don't understand. There is no risk when you have nothing. When you're a peasant-ass brokey, you have no risk, nothing. The risk is living the life that you currently are living.
Yeah. Let me show you this. We all live inside a bubble, right? This is our world. We go to church here. We work over here. We go get our coffee over here. We go to this park over here. We usually go over here to hang out with friends. This is our favorite club. This is our world. This is our favorite spot on the beach. We all live in this bubble. What you gotta do to get the life that God wants you to have, you gotta put more air in your bubble. You got to blow your bubble up. Expand yourself. Take yourself out your comfort zone. Do not live in your bubble. Put some more air in your bubble. If you stay in your comfort zone, that's where you will fail. You will fail in your comfort zone. Success is not a comfortable procedure. It is a very uncomfortable thing to attempt. So you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable if you ever want to be successful. Start putting some pressure on. Put some pressure on yourself. Get out here and get about it. Look, I'd love to sugarcoat this thing for you. I'd love to tell you, look, you can go out here and get rich, do a couple of things. They ain't happening. You got to get real doggish. You got to get downright funky if you want to make it.
If you're looking for calm and peace, you won't matter. I actually said this before. People were talking about how do you decide or how do you know if someone's going to be monumentally successful in the world? And everyone knows, because there's been large studies on it, the IQ level is not how you dictate it. And I'll tell you how you dictate it. Somebody's tolerance to stress. The better you are at dealing with stress, the more successful you will be, because as you climb up the ladder, the stress level increases. It is a direct positive correlation between success and stress. They go together. There's no light without dark. The more money you're paid, the more important you are, the bigger your problems. They said it, more money, more problems. It goes together. I'm not complaining because I'm prepared to handle those problems. But as you get bigger and larger and larger and larger, the pressure is heavier and heavier. So you're going deeper in the ocean. As you go deeper in the ocean of success, the pressure around you gets stronger. Only the strongest submarines can make it to the bottom.
If you don't fail, you're not even trying. I'll say it again. If you don't fail, you're not even trying. My wife told me this great expression. To get something you never had, you have to do something you never did.
I'd like to know when you're in that moment failing and you have to keep going, what do you say to yourself?
What if? At one point in your life, you're going to have to jump. You cannot play it safe your whole life. Ships are safe when they're in port, right? But that ain't what ships is built for. You're built to go far away places. If your job is your port, you're not built for that.
Because many people don't go as far as they should go because they have apprehension that they won't reach their goal. They just say, I'm going to stay down here where I'm at and not try because I might lose. I'm not going to own anything because I might lose it. I'm not going to get married because I might get a divorce. I want it, but I don't want all the stuff that comes with it. That's madness, but that's how it is. And when you do that and you reject God's opportunity, you are left with nothing but the hope of magic. It's like believing God that you're going to get pregnant and not gain weight.
Some people never will have much. They're too cautious. I used to say, what if this happens? And on top of that, if this was to happen, look at the fix I'd be in. I better not try. Then I'll tell you what changed my whole life when I finally discovered it's all risky. Getting married is risky. Having children is risky. Going into business is risky. Investing your money is risky. It's all risky. The Englishman says, well, if that's the way it's going to work out, let's give it a go. Right, that's what it's for. Give it a go.
Now here's why you should take the chance. Name me one time God has not fooled you. And the reason I know I'm telling the truth is because you're sitting in here. Man, you owe yourself something. Go be free. Go see what God got for you. Osteen, that's easy for you to say. You rich. Hell, did you hear me? I lived in a car for 3 years.
Don't ask for security. Ask for adventure. And see, it's not important how long you live. What's important is how you live. A life full of adventure is a life full of many decisions. The ones that turn out to be wrong give you better experience to make better decisions. So don't see how many decisions you can get out of, see how many you can get into. That's where the adventure is.
And if you will allow anyone, any voice on the inside to talk you out of this moment, you will forfeit it and be stuck washing your nets when there's a great drought of fish waiting you if you have the courage to believe.
Doubt's like a plague, and one of the worst is self-doubt. The guy doubts himself. Doubts if it'll last that long for him. Doubts if he can do that well. Doubts if he can accomplish all that. This guy rushes up and he says, I've got 5 good reasons why it won't work. He's so dumb he doesn't know all he needs 1. He's got 5.
This often comes from things that people said to you or about you. They programmed you to see yourself in a limited parameter, and so when you see opportunities beyond how you've been programmed, you reject it because you don't feel like you're deserving of it.
So here's the key. Turn this coin over and become a believer. The understanding of self-worth is the beginning of progress.
I'm a hood dude with no education. The mess around got to the top of the TV world, and I'm telling you, I was homeless and lived in a car, and I ain't got no education. If you destroy the dream, the Bible says a man without a dream or vision shall perish. It never mentions if you don't have an education.
I've been amazed at the people I have met who were highly educated and failing. So education alone is not the solution. I've worked in penal institutions and seen people who were very gifted and incarcerated. In fact, I've seen people with less talent than you doing more than you. You can either become jealous or bitter, or you can begin to challenge yourself to say, what is wrong with my belief systems that's stopping me from going to the next level in this area?
Quit sitting here in your life posturing like it's okay.
Because it's a shame to live long and have no progress. I want to have progress in every area of my life. I've been washing these toilets for 27 years. At least let me be the manager of the toilet washers. Is there anybody in here that wants to move up? You'd be surprised at the people, because they have a belief system that holds on to being ordinary, they will not take the lead. I do not want to stand apart or be different. I am afraid that I will become a target, and you will. But just because they're shooting at you doesn't mean they shot you. But you have to have courage to do that, and you have to be able to see arrows zinging by you, people hating on you, and you have to say like Job, though he slay me, yet shall I trust him. The maybe they'll like me better syndrome keeps you locked into a system that you can't get out of.
Become involved in life. You can come up with excuses or you can come up with achievements. The choice is in your hands, satisfaction or despair. Want to create a greater sense of fulfillment? Challenge your fears. Decide that you're going to take some chances.
It's not a good life. Safe is not a good life. Before you die, you should take a chance.
To live is to risk dying. To try is to risk failure. But risk must be taken, because the greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. And when you no longer fear dying, what else can life threaten you with?
Some people, for fear of having that pressure on them, forfeit the success and stay down rather than to go forward.
Going through life playing it safe is like a breathing corpse. You've got to venture into the unknown. You've got to take some chances.
In order to keep growing, you have to keep going. I would like to submit for your consideration that you are not living until you have been living in a scary place.
We grow when we have to stretch, when we're a little bit nervous, unsure of how it's going to work out. You don't like it, but God uses the scary places to move us into our destiny. We weren't made to stay where we are at the same level. We were made to take new ground. You have been armed with strength for every battle. Do it in spite of what thoughts are telling you. You have to stretch and dream a bigger dream. You'll never develop your wings in the nest. Try new things, develop new muscles. In the scary places, you will discover things you never knew you had. It's uncomfortable, but if you'll stay in faith, you're about to discover your wings.
Hey there, welcome to my channel Dailykeymotivation 2024. Today speak, people in your life are not always going to be there. Don't take them for granted. There will always be plenty of work, plenty of challenges, plenty of problems to solve. There's thing will never go away. Where you with your family? Give them your time, your attention. Life goes so fast. Don't take for granted all the good things in your life right now. Your percent. I am asking you to get connected. Enjoy where you are. Take time for that people God gives you. The dreams will come to pass in due season. The problem will reason in God timing. Worrying about them doesn't make it work out any sooner. Constantly thinking about your goals doesn't make them happy any faster. Stay in the moment. I don't want to live in hole anymore. It makes me feel poor. We are poor, but we are happy. Kamsi kamsa. Anyway, the views are better. Ground, honey, I am safe, not fox.